Hi, I'm Victor, the main organizer of the Full Stack Flutter conference. On this channel we publish the best talks from the conference every week throughout the year, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I'm also the founder of ServerPod, so if you want to build your backend in Dart, make sure to check that out too. Elliot Hesp is the CEO of Invertase. In this session he will talk about Globe. Globe is a new platform for hosting Dart in the cloud. Let's go!
Hello there, my name is Elliot Hesp. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Invertase. We empower developers to build extraordinary software through expert engineering, our contributions to open source software, optimizing workflows, and building powerful tools. We are heavily involved in the Dart ecosystem, maintaining and building popular packages you may have used, such as the Firebase plugin Flutter, commonly known as Flutterfire, and also Melos, a command line tool used to manage monorepos in Dart. Many members of our highly skilled team have also personally contributed critical packages to the Dart and Flutter ecosystem. Today, however, I want to talk about Globe, a new platform for Dart and Flutter which enables developers to build, scale, and deploy their backend and front-end applications. In this talk, we'll first cover the current state of server-side Dart, where Dart can excel, and how it compares to other languages and ecosystems. We'll then talk about Globe, what it is, and the problems we're trying to solve. Dart is an ever-evolving, powerful language. Today, however, it's most commonly used as the language to build Flutter apps. These Flutter apps can run across a variety of platforms such as mobile devices, web applications, or desktop apps on Windows and Linux. This durability is thanks to Dart's ability to compile to various platforms and run across different architectures. This superpower of Dart extends just being beneficial to Flutter. On I/O environments such as servers, we're able to compile Dart code into machine code, lightweight, performant, and self-contained snapshots of code. This is perfect for server environments where every millisecond matters getting data back to your users for a great app experience. Using Dart on the backend also comes with other benefits such as sharing application code, such as data models between your backend and frontend, or common business logic which needs to be executed on the client and server. Your team only needs to know a single language too. Another trend, which is appearing across various frameworks, is the ability to generate RPC-like calls using code generation. You can define server-side logic, which accepts specific arguments or data classes, and generate consumable type-safe clients which can call your server without layers of HTTP routing and complexity. With all of these advantages of using Dart on the server, we've still got a long way to go before Dart becomes the de facto choice for building your next backend application. Other languages such as JavaScript, Python, Ruby, PHP and more have a mature ecosystem of frameworks and packages that are well supported and robust. They've solved many of the complex problems real-world applications are exposed to. These other ecosystems are not only solving challenging server-side problems, they also enable developers to focus on building great web-focused applications with a focus on performance, accessibility, and more. Dart is still in the early phase of this life cycle. We've got some great foundations to build upon, but there's a long way to go. It requires commitment from both the community and companies to make sure the future is bright. With that being said, there's been some really exciting developments in the past year for Dart on the backend. We've seen companies such as VGV investing in their own lightweight HTTP framework, Dartfrog, and community projects such as Conduit. Alongside this, there's been a rise in venture-backed investment into backend as a service type solutions for Dart and Flutter, such as ServerPod and Celeste. The community has also been pushing the backend ecosystem forwards too, building frameworks and tackling challenging problems such as authentication solutions and database integrations with ORMs. So, where does Globe fit into this? Building your backend application in Dart is one challenge. As we mentioned, Dart has frameworks to help aid with this. Frameworks help solve common problems you'll usually face when developing backend applications, such as routing, middleware, logging, service injection, ORMs, and more. Although this helps with the development, there's usually many scenarios where you'll need to tap into lower level services to build a scalable and robust application, such as database integrations, authentication, asynchronous queues, caching, and many more. Once you've built your backend application, that leaves another problem. How and where do you deploy it to? That's where Globe comes into the picture. We're building Globe to enable developers to easily deploy their Dart and Flutter applications to a global infrastructure of compute. To deploy your Dart application today, you'll need to go through a few hardships, such as understanding what Docker is, maybe deploying it to a cloud provider such as Google Cloud Platform or Amazon Web Services, or maybe you want to run it on a VPS somewhere. Once you've finally got it deployed, then how well does that solution scale? How do you set up networking? How do you connect your own domain? How do you integrate it with your own CI/CD workflow? How do I test the changes before they go live? How do I connect my database? Is it all secure? All these questions and more are totally valid and require a wealth of knowledge and experience. If you're a Flutter developer with little backend experience, you just want to ship and not worry about these problems. Deploying your application should be simple. With Globe, you can deploy any Dart backend and Flutter web application with zero configuration. Simply run Globe deploy using our CLI or push to a GitHub project connected to Globe. It's designed specifically for the Dart ecosystem. Out of the box, we support Dart frameworks such as ServerPod Mini and Dartfrog, automatically configuring and deploying the build process for you. With Flutter Web, we smartly build your project, enabling us to cache assets server-side on a content delivery network to ensure your application loads as fast as possible for everyone. So, what happens when you deploy a project? You can think of Globe as a global network of servers, ready to run your application when someone hits your unique deployment URL. Out of the box, your application is automatically scaled and is served close to where your users are. You just need to build the application. Globe handles deployment and scaling. Globe is designed as a serverless platform, running your code on demand all around the world. Your application is scaled to zero when you don't have any traffic and scales up with traffic spikes. All of the complexities mentioned are taken care of. You don't need to hire a DevOps professional or understand how the underlying infrastructure works. One key advantage of Globe is that your application runs close to your users. For example, if a user in the USA hits your application, it'll run in a data center close to that user. However, if a European user hits your application, it'll be handled in an EU data center closest to them. You may have heard of the terminology of an edge network before. If not, it essentially means an interconnected network of servers spread across the world. The advantage of an edge network is the compute is executed closer to where your users are. The less distance to travel to do something and send it back to your user, the faster the response. The term edge is popular in the JavaScript ecosystem at the moment, but it also has a confused meaning. Many users associate it with being a fast, lightweight JavaScript runtime with minimal cold start times at the expense of having a limited set of language APIs. The correct way to understand what edge means is by associating the term to the location of where your application is running, not the runtime. Globe is a bespoke, serverless edge network built on top of a Dart runtime environment. This, however, isn't always ideal and can sometimes degrade performance. For example, you may have an endpoint on your backend application which executes multiple database queries. If your database is centralized in, say, the east coast of the USA, but the user hitting your application is from the EU, the compute will execute in an EU data center, but it'll be making multiple round-trip calls to your database. This can be, and probably will be, slow. You may also have legal requirements that only execute and store user data within a specific region, which may not be where your user is located. So what do we do about this? A powerful feature of Globe is called preferred regions. You can enable a single or multiple preferred regions from your project settings, which ensures that your requests are routed to a specific region automatically and performantly. If you know your database is in a specific region, setting this preferred region will ensure that your application is performant and efficient as possible. Setting this sort of infrastructure up yourself is complicated. However, it's just one of the reasons we're building Globe, to extract the complexities away from you. Globe is more than just being able to deploy an application. In fact, we've got a roadmap which we'll be sharing in the coming weeks with our future plans. Right now though, we've already got a bunch of great features which make deployment simple. Let's go over them. Globe supports monorepos by default. You can deploy a project even if it's nested within a subdirectory or depends on packages or directories outside of the main project. And of course, MEL support is baked directly into Globe. Build Runner is also supported out of the box. Globe will automatically identify if your project and any dependencies require Build Runner to be executed before building your main application. Globe has support for preview and production environments. Every time you make a deployment, a new unique URL is created. This means you can test individual commits or manual deployments before they go live. When you're ready to go live, deploy with the prod flag on the CLI, or push to your main GitHub branch. On a successful deployment, your project URL will automatically point to the new production deployment. You can create environment variables from the dashboard. You can create different environment variables for preview and production environments. These are securely stored within our system and are accessible from your application using the standard platform environment getters or packages such as .env or envid. You can access real-time or historic logs from your application on the dashboard for individual or all of your deployments. Cron job support lets you call your application on a schedule, perfect for regular tasks such as cleaning up old data or sending push notifications to your users. With our global network, you get localized information as to where your users are, such as their closest city, country, their geolocation, and more. You can view metrics in the dashboard, such as their users' total requests, bandwidth, and more. What we've built so far is just the beginning. There's still a lot of work ahead of us. We've just begun laying the foundations of a platform that will excel Dart on the server to the next level. But what does the future of Globe look like? Alongside improving the existing platform from developer experience to performance to stability, at a high level, we're planning on building an open source functions framework so you can define server-side backend procedure calls and generate a Dart client to communicate with the server, fully type safe. This framework will be platform agnostic, enabling other services and frameworks to build similar functionality without reinventing the wheel. A key value data store, also known as KV. This global key value data store can be used to rapidly access data with low latency, perfect for caching or accessing simple data structures. Alongside this, we're building problem-specific solutions for developers on top of KV, such as session storage, caching packages, which of course seamlessly integrate with Globe. We're also planning to build integrations for popular services such as database providers or backend as a solution providers such as Firebase and Supabase. We're aiming to build a low-level utility service such as queues to help offload asynchronous tasks to help separate processes with retries, throughput, concurrency, and configuration. We're also exploring what the web looks like with Dart. Web frameworks in other languages, such as JavaScript, are extremely popular. We want to ensure that the experience is brought to Dart using all of our expertise in this area. Two of the most common questions we get about Globe are, what does the pricing model look like, and when will it be production ready? Whilst we're not quite ready to share the final pricing structure, we're committed to ensuring that Globe is accessible for everyone. Globe will come with a generous free tier, which lets you build upon the platform and scale to moderate usage, perfect for experimenting and launching your next application. Once you've outgrown the free tier, paid plans will allow you and your team to scale and take advantage of the full feature set Globe has to offer. Our pricing model will be based on quantifiable metrics with spend control baked in by default. In terms of production ready, we're using Globe ourselves for client projects, and we're actively monitoring those who have been trying out Globe. Once we're at the stage where we're fully confident in all aspects of the platform, we'll start to share more and onboard more users. Right now, you can try Globe out for free on our website, globe.dev. For now though, the future is bright, and we're extremely grateful for the chance to talk about Globe at this conference. Invertase is heavily investing into the Dart ecosystem, and we're always looking for passionate engineers who have a special skill set and background. If you're interested in working with us, or you feel that you have the capacity to work on a project which pushes the Dart backend ecosystem forwards, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this talk has helped shed some light on what Globe is and why we're building it. You can learn more about Globe by visiting the website, globe.dev, joining our Discord server, or follow us on X or Twitter at Dart_Globe. Alternatively, follow and reach out to me directly on X as @Elliot Hesp. Thank you very much.